I'm the father of 2 girls. I can only imagine what it's like raising boys, though, in this society. What is it like?
It's different. You have to be cautious. You have to attack things before they happen, kind of almost see the future, because we know what kind of climate we live in. So my boys are 11 and the youngest is 1, so it's just kind of time and place. But I've had real conversations with these boys starting at 8 years old, so it's serious.
It's sad that you have to have, instead of playing catch and playing ball with your boy and having fun, you have to worry about life or death situations really early on.
Yeah.
That seems like that would probably take a little bit of the joy out of it.
I mean, you try to, obviously you want to stay as realistic as possible, knowing that anything is possible, but I mean, this doesn't stop me from enjoying them to the fullest and being able to focus on their happiness and them growing to old and, having kids and stuff.
Claudia, we had this show last night where we had a lawyer on, we had 2 lawyers, and we had a police officer on, talking about having a talk, raising boys in today's society and how to deal with them when they have to encounter the police. And it's sad that some people don't have that talk with their boys when it comes to encountering the police. How many kids do you have there, Dougie?
I got 2 boys.
2 boys. You have no girls, right?
I got an oldest one's a daughter.
Is safety the main concern?
Of course.
Why is that?
I tell my sons when they were young, like he said, around 8 years old, how it works out here, Now that one is 20 and one is 17, you get pulled over, put your hands up, because all kind of mistakes are happening out here to young black men. So, you got to definitely let them know and talk to them like men.
Have they had any issues so far being in Los Angeles? Because this is a hot LA, New York.
The funny part, no issues. I raised them out in Valencia, so they around a lot of white kids. So, it's a little different.
Well, it's a different environment, too, like being raised around white kids, too,
sure.
now. That's another
I've been through little situations out there where I had to check, the other ones, the white folks, and all that. But other than that, right now, my son is 20. He likes to be in LA, and I'm like, look, stay away from certain areas. I know you like it. You've seen Boys in the Hood and all that type of stuff, but stay in certain areas. You're a valley kid.
Being raised around white kids, I probably think there could be some issues with that as well, because the things they get away with their parents. Dad, I hate you. You really can't get away with. You can't bring that to a black household, right?
They tried me with that, but then the black come out.
Right.
Sean, you actually kind of got caught up with something like that, right?
Yes, sir.
You actually spent some time in juvie because of hanging with the wrong crowd, so to speak. What was that about?
And funny that it happened to be a white crowd that I was hanging around with, but I just got caught up in the wrong area at the wrong time with the wrong people, and just got in trouble, I guess.
What happened?
I got caught riding in a stolen car at 15 years old.
You were riding, so you didn't steal the car?
Oh, riding. I was driving.
Oh,
you were driving? So who stole the car?
Man, I bought the car.
Hold up. If you bought it, you ain't steal it. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, it was receiving stolen property.
Oh, okay. You bought the car. Somebody else stole it.
Yes, sir. I guess that's how it went.
You didn't know it was stolen?
You didn't know it was stolen.
Man.
Okay.
No, man.
Were you with white kids with you?
Yeah.
Did any of them get arrested?
No, man.
Just you?
Wow.
I know, I could have sworn in other cases when there's a black passenger in a car that there's a crime. Everybody goes to jail, right? But when it's a black kid driving the car with white friends, the white kids go home and you get to go to jail?
They get the joyride.
Did they snitch?
Joyriding, yes.
As far as snitching, I don't know, but I kept my word down to what it was supposed to be.
Wow. I can't even imagine having to raise boys. I got little girls, and I know I would raise them entirely different if I had boys. Because my little girls, when they talk back, it still kind of got my heart a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I kind of let them get away with a lot of things. If I had a boy, I'd probably want to throw them through a wall, though. Is it a little different? I mean, because, you can't do the same things you did 20 years ago, man.
Right. I grew up where, you was going to get spanked if you did something wrong, and it wasn't child abuse, it's just you was going to take it, so now you can't do anything to kids, so how do you keep that line of authority and still, be respected and like I said, a disciplinarian. So it's just different. And like I said, I'm very real. I'm very upfront with them. I hold them accountable because they didn't grow up how I grew up. I grew up off food stamps in bad neighborhoods, but luckily my parents put me in white schools. So I had a little bit of both of kind of the first time eating dinner at a dinner table or traveling for family vacations. I did all that with my white friends. So I got a taste of the streets and what the other side was like, so my kids are growing up more how I hung out when I hung out with the other families, so I have to keep them grounded and disciplined and always let them know that not everybody, this is a blessing and not everyone has a chance to live like this.
Now your kids are still, no, clap that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
kids are still really young. The oldest, the
11. The twins are 11.
11, right? So do they realize who you are and who their daddy is? Like their dad is a star and NBA player.
Yeah, I just retired in 2017, and the boys are 11 now. So they saw me play, for probably about 5 years, and I was just really, I brought them on the court. I brought them to practice with me. I brought them on team planes. So they were just really in the mix and got a chance to meet, everyone from Kobe to Chris Paul to Steph Curry, KD, like all these guys I got a chance to play with, Shaq, Allen Iverson. So they've been around it, and they kind of know who I am and, what I was known for. And, it gets trying sometimes because, everywhere I go, it's pictures and it's autographs and this and that. But when I'm with my kids, it's different. But at the same time, like, I already had a certain type of reputation on the court. So if I tell one person I'm the biggest jerk ever.
Is it harder for you to discipline your kids being who you are? Like, being a celebrity dad, I always wonder about that. Is it harder to discipline your kids?
I don't play games. You know what I mean? Like, I changed my tone of voice and that because we had a talk on the way because one of my boys is 11 and he lies about the smallest things, and we had like a real conversation on the way home. I just don't play. Like, there's no room for playing with me.
Do you know who this dude is on the basketball court?
Oh, I'm very familiar.
The type of reputation he had on the basketball court. Hell yeah, his kids know exactly who he is.
Yeah. So like I said, I had a really rough upbringing with my dad. He was there, but he was a drug dealer. He was abusive. It was kind of rough. So I'm the exact opposite. I'm over loving and I'm on them, but at the same time, I'm still very, holding them accountable. And if they mess up, they're gonna have to answer for it.
See, I feel you on that because I didn't have male role models in my life either, and I know it hurt me as far as the way I grew up because I didn't have somebody to teach me how to speak to a girl or how to treat a woman or whatnot. I didn't have somebody to give me life lessons or whatever. Did you grow up without your father? Was your father in your life?
I grew up without my father. My mom was there. From day one. I came out here from New York. My mom moved from New York to LA. I never knew their situation really because I would only go see them on the weekends, you know what I mean? So I didn't really understand the situation. But we're real tight now, because when you're a man, you understand situations. I don't know if they was girlfriends and boyfriends or if they was just messing around. You really don't know, until you're grown and then you understand and want to understand, have a man-to-man talk with him.
But how did it affect you as a kid, though? Growing up, not having your father necessarily in your life?
It never really affected me unless I went over somebody's house and I'm running around with them and notice that they pops is on the lazy boy chair and mom's is cooking or whatever, and you're like, damn, he got a mom and pop, you know what I mean?
So I noticed like some men that didn't have their fathers around, like they're a little angry and resentful. Do you feel like you had that at all? Because you do tend to feel a little bit of rejection. You know what I'm saying? Like, my daddy didn't want me. You kind of, whether that's true or not, you may feel that as a kid. It's different how you interpret it now as an adult, as a man, than when you're a kid. When you're a kid, you don't know like you said what the relationship was. You just feel like I have a void there.
No, it didn't really bother me like that because my mom was so strong. I looked at it like moms and pops, and like I said, my pops was in New York, and I just kind of was young and understood how situations happen. You know what I mean? From having uncles and hanging out with older people when I was younger, that I really didn't understand the situation until I had a man-to-man talk with him as I got older.
Right.
Yeah, Sean was adopted. So you had an adopted father who was there for you, but your biological father, did you have a relationship with him at all?
No, sir.
None. How did that affect you at all, if at all?
It didn't really affect me at all throughout my life because I grew up not knowing until I turned 17, and mainly that would be the factor of me going bad or going good, but it absolutely changed my mind on my dad, and I love him to death.
How did it change your mind? What did it do?
My mom, I love her even more too, both ways, including my stepmom, who's also here now. And just my family in general that I have now, which is my family. I love to death because of everything. So.
I like that you asked that question. I feel like, especially as Black people, I feel like we have to try and put out such a strong front, even if it's not really the case. Like, I remember feeling like that growing up. I'm good, I'm okay, it's okay, I don't need him, I'm gonna be strong. And it wasn't until I got older and I started seeing mistakes repeating in relationships that I'm like, this is because I didn't have that presence. And as much as we wanna say we are strong and it don't bother us, like, it does show up in certain areas. And like, that's why it's so important to be in your kids' lives. You know what I mean? Like, we have it in us, but we gotta be like, we got it,
Yeah.
And I want to tell you as you're a young man, it's okay if you have any of those feelings because that's human. And I feel like we go so out the way to not reveal, like, we don't want to show vulnerability a lot of times.
That's the problem with Black men sometimes. We're so masculine. You know
it's
what
okay.
I mean? It's all right to be vulnerable. And it took me a long time. We talked about this a long time. It took me a long time before I found that sensitive side where I felt like I could let down those layers and not put up those facades, because it's always, as a black man, you're showing weakness if you show vulnerability. Do you teach your kids that vulnerability as well?
I just teach them to be themselves, you know, in all aspects. I mean, being true to themselves is the most important. Obviously, you know, you want them to be men, but, you know, men cry, men show feelings, men show expression. Like, I grew up with tough love, you know what I mean? Like, I know my dad loved me, but there was never no hugs or I love you said. It was tough love, you know, so I'm the other way around, where I'm hugging my kids, smothering them, you know, kissing my boys, and just letting them know it's okay to be rough and tumble. You might have to fight someone, but it's also okay if you have to cry some. You know what I mean? So there's a good balance of, but like I said, most important is just being themselves.
Are you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Matt, are you part Italian as well?
Yeah, I'm Italian and black.
Me too. Mm-hmm. Who's Italian in your family?
My mom.
Oh, your mom. On my Italian side, they're not very affectionate either. Like, it's not, I never heard I love you, and there was not a lot of hugging. Was your family?
My mom was super, well, first of all, like, my mom's, like, they're old school Italian, so my mom's family didn't accept me until, or me, my brother, and my sister, until I was probably 7 or something. But then after that, once they opened up, they were amazing. But until then, it was just like, you know, blacks and Italians don't mix.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then growing up biracial, I was never black enough and I was never white enough. So I was just always fighting. I was in the middle, I was always fighting. And so until, like, these kids gave me a chance to kind of just show who I was fighting my whole life.
How did that affect you too? What'd your dad tell you about that? How did
that's what my dad told me. You know, if they call you, you know, they call you the N-word, fight them. You know, that was his answer. Like, I grew up in, like, back in the 80s, I used to see my dad fight all the time. That was one thing. Like I said, he wasn't very daddish, but we related on, you know, he loved to watch sports and he was always fighting. And I thought that was cool. Like, my dad could beat up anybody type stuff. You know what I mean? So it just, it's what I grew up on, and it's something that, you know, it's kind of stuck with me. Obviously, you know, I'm turning 40 in March, but it's in me. But at the same time, you know, I continue to grow, continue to mature, and hope that I don't have to, you know, use that anymore.
I got to give these guys a round of applause. These two men right here, of course. Because whether it's the media, whether it's the internet, whether it's black men themselves, we have this image out there that we don't care about our black children. You know, we might not be in the household all the time. I think only 4% of them have custody of their children, but we are around and we're in our children's lives. Because of the media and all the stereotypes that are out there, it makes us look like we're bad fathers or whatnot, and that is just not the case. There are more good dads out there than deadbeat dads, and I want to put that out there. As a matter of fact, y'all got to give Matt a round of applause, because this man right here, he was just named the Father of the Year by the Fathers and Families Coalition.
Wow.
I mean, Father of the Year.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
Father of the Year, that must mean a lot to you.
That's serious. You know what I mean? I take that just as serious as winning a championship ring or playing in the NBA for 15 years. Like, being a father, that's my greatest accomplishment. You know, to raise 3 young boys is a dream come true. You know, so to be recognized for that, because like I said, I was always painted a certain way when I played, and it's just a part of me. It's the competitive nature. I was a thug. I was this. I was that. You're always fighting, but that was just my competitive side. So to be able to kind of open up post-career and kind of show full spectrum on what I'm about, I think just people have a better understanding of who I am. But being a father was always the #1 thing to me, and like I said, it means a lot to be recognized for it.
We definitely need to see more images of that. I don't know what the stats are as far as like good dads, bad dads, dads and houses. I just know my experiences and a lot of my friends I'm with. I definitely feel that we don't portray it, we don't glorify it enough, we don't recognize it enough in the media.
Right.
And I want to ask you, especially Dougie, I want to go to you. Being that you're a good dad, right? How do you feel about people that you're friends with that are not good dads? I remember having a friend that said, I can't rock with nobody that disrespects their seed, because what chance do I have? Right. Do you guys hold other men accountable that are not good dads, or is it just like none of your business?
I mean, I look at them a little different, but I only can tell a man but so much, and if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do, I can't do nothing about it. But you do look at them a little different, especially, you know, people that got money, and you going through it with a girl, but you got your DNA right there, and you're not handling the situation. It's not cool. You know, when my kids came out the womb, I was going to be there all the way until, you know, they're men, and that's what I did. You know what I mean? Regardless on whatever situation I was going through or whatever, I was going to make sure that I stayed there and guided them the right way, or the streets is going to take them.
Right.